my channel. So as you will all know, today's video is my 40-week update, and yes, I am still very pregnant. I was hoping that I'd get to around 39 weeks and I'd have the baby early, but no such luck, and knowing me, I'll probably get myself to 42 weeks and not have much luck either. So I'm really trying everything I can to get this baby out. At the moment I am drinking raspberry leaf tea 3 times a day, and I am also using clary sage essential oil in my bath. Both safe to use from 37 weeks onwards, so I've been doing that since 37 weeks. I have also been using my birth ball, so if you've seen my previous videos you'll see some exercises on the birthing ball, but I have been doing those as well as constantly bouncing up and down on the ball, trying to get her engaged, as last appointment I had at my 38-week scan showed that she was not engaged yet, but she was very, very close. So fingers crossed for my appointment, guys, that she is finally engaged and almost ready to come out, but we shall see about that. So I am off to my appointment now, so I will be back very, very soon. It's literally just down the road, so it'll be a half an hour appointment, and that is it. You know, we are super organised. I already have the bags and my hospital bags packed and ready by the door, so it's literally any moment now that we can just pick up the bags and go. I have just filmed a what's in my hospital bag, so if you are interested to see that, I will link the description. I will link it in the description box down below for you guys as well. So we are back from my midwife appointment. I'm just going to grab my notes, as in the last update I told you about my blood pressures and it's slightly changed. I just want to give you guys a full update on the actual appointment. Okay, so I am slightly over the 40-week mark now. So I'm 40 weeks plus 4 days, and this was my 40-week appointment with my midwife, Adele, who is absolutely wonderful. So my blood pressure has improved, which is great. It means that iron tablets are finally working. So my blood pressure is now 110/70, which is good. They also checked my urine, which was fine, and the baby's heart rate was all good, all healthy. She did say when she measured my tummy that my baby is huge. I'm not prepared for a big baby. But she did say the growth chart that I have. So basically in England, your BMI, your height, your weight, all kind of creates a personalised chart for you guys. If you're pregnant, you will know that your chart kind of gives you a window of opportunity, so it could be on the lower end, it could be on the higher end, and as long as it's within those two margins, then you are fine. Now I've had several growth charts throughout, because it's either been too low or too high. At the minute it's just on the border of being too big, so they're not concerned. They expected a big baby anyway, but it's currently looking like I'm going to have a 9.5 pound baby. Now I know that midwives have said to me in the past, and all you pregnant ladies who are following me on Instagram will know, that several people have told me that that is most likely going to be wrong, because there is a 25% margin of error with these measurements, and I'm not too sure why. You think the technology they have these days would be fairly accurate, but it could be 25% either way, so you never know. But as long as she's happy and healthy in there, and she comes out and she's, you know, her happy, healthy self, then I really don't mind. Just wanted to touch on the fact that there is loads of anxiety flying around at the minute with this COVID-19 virus. I myself have had a really bad week with my anxiety, and I've had an overly emotional week. I'm not normally an overly emotional person. However, during pregnancy it's kind of been heightened, but this week has been quite bad. I'm not too sure whether or not it is because of the forever changing rules around pregnant women and birthing partners and this virus, what's going on in the world, or you know, whether or not it's just general hormones that you know, send you crazy if you go overdue. I'm not too sure. I think it's a mixture and combination of them all, but I just wanted to tell you guys how I've been feeling, as I know that if you're watching this and you're pregnant, you will probably be feeling exactly the same thing. And I just want to make sure that you know I am here for you. If you need to DM me, you know, follow me on Instagram, message me on here. I'm happy to chat and talk if you need to. So every area in England is completely different. However, they seem to have put some kind of restrictions on birthing partners. Now, I live in Essex, and I know that several areas are different in Essex as well. However, my area in particular, they have limited the birthing partners to one birthing partner per person. The birthing partner is only allowed to be there in active labour. Now, active labour is when you are 4 centimetres dilated or more. So they don't suggest you go to the hospital if you start labour naturally until you're 4 centimetres anyway, and I think it's around having 3 contractions every 10 minutes. However, if you are over and you have to be induced, then your partner is not allowed with you until you are 4 centimetres dilated, which sucks big time. So we have kind of prepared for that. I've had loads of tears this week, and it's been very tough for me, but I am putting a smile on my face. I'm trying to get through it, as I'm sure most of you are. I've purposely not watched the news in the last 2 days, as I just think for my mental well-being, I just need to switch off from that, and you know, anything important I can be updated on through my husband or family. And you know, I see stuff on Instagram anyway. I just think for my mental well-being, I needed to switch off, take a day and 2 for myself, you know, concentrate on this beautiful experience that I've found myself being on. You know, 9 months of happy, blissful pregnancy. You know, look at all the positives in my life at the moment, and what I am, and the positives of what I've got to come. You know, I can't wait to meet my princess, and I'm sure you can't wait to meet yours as well, if it's a prince or a princess or twins or however many you're expecting. You know, try and find the positives in this experience, as during these uncertain times it's tough. It's easy to kind of spiral down and let it spiral out of control, and your anxiety will build up. You know, you will feel really down, and try not to let that happen. So please, if you do one thing today and get one thing from this video, try and find 3 things that makes you feel positive, that you have to look forward to. So just 3 things, and just remind yourself that you're having a positive day and today is a good day and you can look forward from there. It's a rubbish time for people at the moment anyway. Everyone in England here is or has been told to self-isolate and social distance as much as possible. They're only advised to leave the house twice a day, once for exercise and once to go shopping. Now, we have been in self-isolation for 2 weeks now, but since Boris Johnson announced that pregnant women are a vulnerable category and they should self-isolate for up to 12 weeks. So that's what we have been doing here. We've just been busy arranging the house. Not that we would have left much anyway, but it's been tough because we live in a 2-bedroom apartment, so therefore, you know, there's not a lot of room for us. It's quite crowded anyway, and we're used to having our freedom. We like to be outdoors, so having to stay indoors has been tough. However, it's been good to kind of stay in, get all your jobs done that you need to do, and prepare. I don't think my house has ever been as clean as it has right now. So yeah, there's always a silver lining. But the main message was just to keep positive. I know that there are tougher times ahead, and you know, it's going to be hard not seeing your families and friends, especially when you have your little one here. But it's for the safety of you, it's for the safety of your baby, and it's for the safety of others that we limit visitors as much as we can for the time being. And you know, she's only going to get bigger, and they're still gonna, your friends and family is still going to be there in, you know, a couple of weeks time when this has all been lifted and we can resume back to normal. At the moment in our hospital we have a limitation on birthing partners, so usually you're allowed 2 birthing partners with you throughout the whole of labour, and you are allowed to have visitors after labour, as many as I think up to 5 at one time throughout the day. Now unfortunately, because of the virus, they've put several restrictions throughout the hospital, not only on the labour ward, but now there is a limitation on birthing partners, which was reduced down to 1 birthing partner per person. And since, I think that was about a week ago, and since then, in the last couple of days, they have announced that there are further limitations where the birthing partner is only allowed to attend during active labour. That is when you're 4 centimetres dilated or more, and then once you have had the baby, the birthing partner can only stay for a maximum 1 hour afterwards and then has to leave. And in our particular hospital, they are not allowed to visit at all, I believe. I think they did have visitation rights. They did have visitation times from 3 to 6. However, I'm not sure if that's changed, or if it's likely, it's probably more than likely that it's going to change in the next week or 2. But I'm preparing for, if I have to stay in hospital, I have to stay alone, because if that's the case, I'm thinking the worst possible scenario, and if he is allowed to stay any longer than an hour afterwards, then I'm considering that as a bonus, because I don't want to have my high hopes and then get it crushed, as I will probably sit in a hospital bed crying my eyes out. But if I'm prepared mentally, physically, to know that I will have to do this on my own, I'm more than capable, as you are too. It's scary, but you know, just think you're in a hospital with 3 other women that have just had babies as well, and you have your midwives and the nurses there that will help out. You just have to ask, especially if you've had a C-section as well. Just remember to ask for help. They have restricted your rights. They have restricted your rights to a birthing partner to stay with you, and you are not going to be able to, you know, look after your child as much as you would want. So they are there for you to ask for help, you know, to help feed your baby, with breastfeeding, with picking them up, with changing their nappies, with you getting up and down to go to the toilet. But hopefully everyone has a, you know, a really easy natural birth, and they get to go home as soon as possible, where you can start your little newborn bubble with your partner, and it's all going to be amazing, and you will forget about all your anxieties around birth and labour and birthing restrictions and this horrible coronavirus that is going around at the minute. So on to my 40-week update. So the last time I updated you was my 38 weeks. I told you guys about my midwife appointment. I also mentioned that I was using some stretch mark cream, so the Palmer's stretch mark cream. Prior to that I was using bio oil, but I literally hit 40 weeks with no stretch marks on my stomach whatsoever, and the baby has gone full on there on, so literally it's right there, it's engaged now. It's only 1/5, 3/5 engaged. However, she's in position, and I think because she's stretching out my stomach further, I've just got a few stretch marks around my belly button, which I'm hoping are going to fade. But I'll continue to use the stretch mark cream and let you guys know how I get along with that. But so far so good. I'm still really impressed with the Palmer's stretch mark cream. What else is there to update you on? No signs of anything happening. There has been no twinges. I've not experienced any Braxton Hicks whatsoever. No pains, no backache. So I'm just plodding along as usual. I just feel very tired all the time. I'm having days where I feel really sleepy and other days where I'm wide awake. So I'm not too sure if, I think that's my body telling me that, you know, this baby could be really good for a few nights and then be up for another couple of weeks with no sleep. So this is your body telling you to prepare. Probably is. She's wiggling about in there at the moment. Probably agreeing with everything that I'm saying. Track for me to have my birth plan that I want, give or take, you know, a birth partner and some restrictions, but things are on track for me to actually have what I want. So I'm going to talk you through what my birth plan is at the minute, as I'm not too sure I've touched on this before, but I know a lot of you guys have asked or interested in what my birth preferences are. This is my birth plan. This is kind of a template that the NHS provides to you and that I went through with my midwife. So it says, so the ideal place for me to give birth would be in the birthing centre. Now I know that some of you have separate birth centres than your hospitals. My birth centre is attached to the hospital, so it's within the hospital, 2 or 3 floors down from the labour unit. So that is where I feel safest. I feel safest in the hospital. I like to know that the doctors and the midwives are there, readily available if I need them to be. And I think that the birth centre is a nice alternative to the labour ward. It's going to be more tranquil, it's midwife led, it's more calming, so I've heard, though I haven't been to visit it because they stopped visiting due to hygiene. Now the other thing I have put is it's okay for students to be present. Now I know some of you feel uncomfortable about students being present. Myself, I think I don't see any harm in doing that, and I would like an active birth, so anything that is upright and keeping me motivated, keeping me on my feet to encourage a natural delivery, try and get that baby to come down, is, you know, encouraged. I really want them to continue through with that, and as long as I don't have to have an epidural, then that will be possible as well. So pain relief, I am starting off with a TENS machine at home and just some paracetamols. The TENS machine I have hired from Baby TENS. I will put a link to them down below in the description box. I paid around £25–30 to hire it for 6 weeks. So I have practiced with it. I'm not going to lie, I'm not too sure if I like it, but it's definitely worth buying just in case. Give it a try, and you know, it might help with the labour, especially as they don't like you going in until you're 5 centimetres or 4 or 5 centimetres dilated. So the longer you stay at home, the better, and you know, a TENS machine might help you with that. Now, once in the birth centre, I'm going to try gas and air and diamorphine, which is an alternative to pethidine. Not every hospital offers it, but this hospital does, and it's a bit more safer for the baby. And then lastly, if I still don't think I'm capable of handling the pain on diamorphine, then I will go on to having an epidural, but obviously that will mean I'm then transferred from the birthing suite to a labour ward, which I don't really want, but it all depends on whether or not my body can cope with it and how quick my labour is as well. But there is a birth pool within the birth suite. I will use that, but I don't want to use that whilst giving birth, so I don't want a water birth. But I will use that to help with the pain if necessary. Now, after the birth has happened, I have requested delayed cord clamping, which I think most midwives offer now as well, but it just basically helps the baby get as much of its own blood from the placenta as it possibly can before they cut the cord. So if that's possible, I've asked for that. So I'm hoping for a natural labour. I'm hoping for no intrusions, forceps, you know, anything like that. I'm hoping not to have an emergency C-section. So hypnobirthing techniques, you know, as much natural calming abilities with the aids of some drugs, because I know I'm going to need them. The thing is, they will ask you if you want your placenta to be delivered naturally or if you just want an injection to help you along. I've asked for it to kind of be natural. However, I'll see how I feel on the day. But if it's a long labour, I'll probably ask for it to be rushed through, because it does take around half an hour or up to an hour for the placenta to be delivered naturally, and it also depends on how much blood loss you have lost. I do want skin to skin with my baby, so that is also written on my birth plan, and I'm not going to breastfeed, so I've wrote that on there, as well as I know some midwives can be very pushy, and even though you've said I'm not going to breastfeed, they do try and encourage you. So really stand your ground if you are not breastfeeding. I have thought about combination feeding, and I will be expressing my colostrum, which is the stuff that happens 3 days before the milk comes in, which is the best part of breastfeeding, I've been told. So I will be expressing that and giving that to the baby as well as the formula. So it says, do you want to give your baby vitamin K? You can say yes or no. I personally don't see why anyone would say no, so I've opted yes, and I've said that they can do that via an injection. I know some people will prefer to give it orally, but you do need to have that 3 times because it's not as effective as the injection. So that's what I've opted for there. So at my 40-week midwife appointment, we went through the options for an induction. As my husband isn't allowed there with me, I've kind of said I don't really want to be induced, and I kind of just want to see how things go. Hopefully I'll be able to deliver naturally. And my blood pressure is fine. It's around 100 over 70. Everything's fine. The baby is engaged. Woohoo! So it's now 2/5 engaged. It's fully down. Good heartbeat. All the observations are there and it's good. I had a sweep done, which was really good. The second time, as the first time, she couldn't reach it, but the second sweep that I've had was successful, so now it's just a waiting game. So that is my 40-week update. The baby is still really active in there, still wiggling about. She feels really long to me, seeing as they said my head is engaged. I can still feel her kicking in my ribs, so I think she's going to be a really long baby, and I'm hoping that they have got it slightly wrong and she is a little bit smaller than 9.5 pounds, so we shall see. But hopefully next time I see you guys, the baby will be here. I feel like I say this on every video that I do, however, I hope this time it's true. I am almost 41 weeks now, so it's kind of coming to the end of the road, and I just really want her here in my arms. I can't wait till she's here. So thank you guys for watching my video today about my 40-week update. I also have a what's in my hospital bag, so I will link that down there as well. For any other pregnancy related videos, they are all on my channel, so check them out. There's more to come, so please do subscribe. Give me a thumbs up for this video, and I will see you next time. Bye guys!